Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today, we're going to talk about meow. Cats, that's right, cats. The love of cats, felines, the whole 9 yards. We're going to go into the world of cats, radio personality, television personalities. You know, I can just go on and on with the resume that this young lady has. I'm blessed that she walked through the door to appear on today's show. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the show KJ on air. What's going on, baby girl?
I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm finally getting everybody's names and stuff right. Okay, tell the viewers a little bit about you before we get into this bestseller.
Sure. So my name is KJ, and I'm best known as the kitty correspondent for Pet Pals TV.
Okay.
I got my start in radio. I'm actually originally from Wisconsin, so there's people that know me back there, but I moved to Indianapolis in 1998. So
okay, good year. That's a good year.
I'm pretty much a Hoosier now.
Okay. Okay.
I was on the Smiley Morning Show here, WZPL Heritage Station. Loved that, and then Patty Spitler, the great Patty Spitler from
the one, the only Patty Spitler.
I tell you what, she would come in studio and she would be like, "I need someone on Pet Pals that loves cats as much as you do," and I'd be like, "I don't want to be on TV, Patty." And then finally, about 6 years ago, actually at her birthday party,
okay,
she came over and she said, "I'm not taking no for an answer."
Wow.
So here I am.
So what were you doing prior to that? You mentioned, radio. Were you already involved with radio before you met Patty, before she offered you that opportunity?
I was. I started in radio in high school.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to be in entertainment somehow. And when I was a youngster, you remember the show Solid Gold?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep that quiet. We're showing our ages here.
I know, but I was going to be not just a dancer, I was going to be the head dancer.
Really?
On Solid Gold.
And oh my God. I literally forgot about that particular show.
Oh, man. Wow. Marilyn Magoo, come on.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, forgot all about that. And her husband.
Yes. Yeah. And so when that show got canceled, I was, I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? Right. There was a radio station that was the closest thing we had in Cuba City, Wisconsin to being in entertainment. So I ran down to the grocery store one day when they were broadcasting live, and I ran in there and I said, "How do I do this?" And Joe Dawson, the morning show guy, said, "Well, why don't you get started? Come in and we'll teach you." And I started learning, showing my age, taking reels and commercials and running them to other radio stations. So
you went in as an intern, basically.
Yeah, I went in as an intern. They eventually gave me a chance to do the weather forecast live during Casey Kasem. So.
Oh my God, what a name! Okay, yeah.
I know. I look a lot younger than I am, man.
Okay, Casey Kasem. Okay.
And so that just led me on the road to, I worked in Omaha for a little while, worked in Detroit for a little while, all doing radio, and had an opportunity to come here. And I don't know, people don't realize this in Indianapolis, but Indianapolis is such a respected radio market. I mean,
really?
WZPL is a heritage top 40 station. Like, it was a dream to come here. Bob and Tom were already syndicated, right? So, like, it was like, this is a big deal in radio.
And that kind of trips a lot of people out, because when I relocated to different states, Ohio, Florida, so forth, and Georgia, Bob and Tom was already being heard.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's kind of odd, knowing that I lived here in Indianapolis. I'm like, how in the heck is Bob and Tom playing out here?
Right. Well, and syndication wasn't really a thing. I mean, they were on the forefront of that. In the little Dubuque, Iowa, which is near where I grew up, Bob and Tom were on. So to be able to come here and be like, wow, I'm on WZPL. I'm in the same market Bob and Tom are.
Let's go back a little bit. You mentioned the little small town of Wisconsin. Did you want to leave the little small town? Let me rephrase that. Sometimes you want to be a big fish in a different pond.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like for you in that small town that actually sparked you to want to leave?
I always knew I was going to end up somewhere else. I think because of that performer in me, I was like, boy, I grew up on a farm where my love of cats came from. But, I come from a family, there's 9 kids in my family. There were
How many?
9.
Okay, where do you rank?
I am the second oldest.
Okay.
And eight of us are girls, so my poor youngest brother, we don't even, that's a whole other show. But, my dad was in the middle of 16 kids. Like you worked on the farm, you made lots of kids, that was life. And even though I appreciate that now.
What was your job on the farm? What did you have to do?
I fed the cats and the calves. So
what was the purpose of having cats on the farm? I mean, I don't know anything about farm life.
Yes. So,
green acres.
Sure. So I am happy to share with you. It's interesting because dogs were domesticated to work with us, right? They hunted alongside of, humans. Cats, we discovered that cats were useful when we started farming because if you don't have cats, you have rodents.
Right, so they was rodent control.
So they had a very important job on the farm, still do, but they were independently doing their job. And at some point we decided, hey, these little fur balls can be kind of nice too, and we brought them inside.
Okay.
So my job was to make sure the cats all got the extra milk that we had, but mostly they ate the rodents, so they didn't.
How many cats? How big was your farm? First of all.
Oh, it was several acres. It wasn't. There are really big farms.
Well, even an acre, a farmland is. It's a job to maintain.
Oh yeah, and we had a back 40 they call it, which is all of the woods and stuff like that. So it was pretty big.
How many cats did you actually need to make it
to keep the mice away to do their jobs? On average, you probably would need 5 to 10 for a farm.
I was getting ready to say 10.
Per
10 per acre.
This was back in the day, and there wasn't a lot of spay and neuter going on, so we could have 20 to 30 at any time on the farm, but they all survived. They all lived together. So that was it, man. I go out 4 o'clock in the morning.
Your veterinarian bill had to be outrageous. Who literally took care of the hospitalization and the care of these animals? I mean, they still have to be taken care of.
It's part of the farm. It's part of farm life. And you have, in farm life, you have vets that come to the farm. The most famous one, actually, I just interviewed him, the incredible Dr. Pole. He's in his...
Yeah.
You know that guy?
Yeah.
Okay. He's from Grand Rapids, I think, Michigan area. And you see him. He's going out.
He goes out to different places and farms and stuff.
Yep, and he's doing everything from, taking care of the horses, helping cows give birth, to taking care of the cats and dogs that are doing their job on the farm. So that was what we were
and you wanted to leave Green Acres to pursue
I did.
to pursue radio, broadcasting, and television entertainment.
I did. I'll tell you, the day I left, so the first job I got out of college was Suite 98 in Omaha. Okay. And I remember packing up my little red Ford Escort and with all of the belongings I had and my one cat. And I was all ready to go. And, my dad just started crying. And he said, I never thought you'd leave. And I said, Dad, I've been telling you since I was 5.
Mm-hmm. How many people, you touched on something. Your dad was trying to create generational wealth through the farm.
Yes.
Let's be real. That's what it was. That's why it probably shocked him that you left. Did your family, what about your mom? Did your mom and dad expected at least not all of you guys, but at least the majority of you guys to have some type of interest in keeping the farm going?
So my grandpa lost his farm in the 80s, as a lot of farmers did as things got corporate.
That's when they started doing farm aid,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah. And so,
Man, we're telling our age.
I know we are. What are you going to do? You either have another birthday or you don't. And I appreciate having birthdays. So my dad continued farming, but actually several of his brothers got their own farms and they kind of continued on with the farming. I think my dad looked around and was like, I got a bunch of girls that don't want to farm, I'm going to move on. So they actually moved into the restaurant business. My mom was a great cook. And so they had kind of moved on from that. But there was still this, I've got 56 first cousins, and most of them still live in that area. There is that mentality of we stay together, right?
How many of your siblings stayed, or at least tried to keep your dad's and mom's dream alive and keeping the farm like the rest of the family?
So everybody, I have my youngest sister lives here in Indianapolis with me, and my oldest sister. So the two bookends live here. My parents actually passed away early on.
Sorry about that.
It was something that I went through on the air and shared, but they were diagnosed a month apart with the exact same cancer, which is non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is very, very linked to farm life and the pesticides and things.
I was going to say, is it contribute to the things that they was working with, the chemicals?
Yep. So even though they hadn't been on the farm for years, at some point, that they have now, there's a lot of evidence linked to this, but the blood cancers, lymphoma, multiple myeloma, which my uncle passed away of. So I'm a big advocate for cancer research, but they had passed away. And so my youngest sister came to finish out high school and live with us. My older sister moved here a little bit later, but the rest of my family is still back there. None of them are in farming, but they are still very involved.
So
with
you
the
launched the ship to Indianapolis.
Yes.
And they all just decided that this was the gold mine. This was the new gold rush to come here. How hard was it for you to really get doors open in Indiana? Because we're talking about the 80s.
Yeah.
How hard was it to open up doors for you coming from further north almost?
So, as far as when I moved here in 98, I was very fortunate that I knew someone who had an opening at WZPL and got me in for
Isn't that usually how it works?
It is. That's what I tell people. I don't even
build your network. A lot of people build those resumes, but your connections opens up doors. Your resume allows them to look at it.
Yeah. And that is, I think, no matter what your passion is, no matter what the industry is, it's being willing when someone says, "Hey, do you want to have a conversation? Do you want to come on my podcast?" That's how how you build your career and what you love. And that's what happened. So I was very fortunate that door opened at WZPL, and then I was incredibly fortunate that I was a radio person who stayed in one spot for several decades. And then when the stations got sold, that was when I stepped out on my own. I'd already started my podcast, The Kind of Nerdy Girls, about 2 years before.
What was that about, briefly?
You know what? It's still going strong, and it is a bunch of women, a panel of women, all different backgrounds in the entertainment industry, but we all discovered we loved nerdy things. So Star Wars, Harry Potter.
Gaming, I'm coming on your show. You got to have
Marvel.
a thing for guys on that.
My husband produces it, so he's our kind of nerdy dude.
Yeah.
We do have guys on the show, but the
I'm coming on the Marvel part.
I tell you, man, I'll talk Marvel all day with you. But yeah, that started, and so I took that. That was the one thing I took with me. It was mine, and I realized that podcasting was really taking off and on demand.
What year was this?
This was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I took that with me and just slowly built the KJ Media Company. And now we have our YouTube show, KJ Today, and we still do the Kind of Nerdy Girls. And I do a couple of live streams surrounding cats in conversation. That's where we get into talking about the pets. And then I'm on Pet Pals TV. So it's really, really wonderful to kind of be my own boss in an industry where you usually don't get to.
How hard was it for you to switch from having your own? It's different when you're living, when the paycheck is guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's another thing when you're trying to still do your dream, but you now have to take that money and kind of like flip it into yourself. How long did it take you, and what was that like for you to do that? And what were some of the things that made you afraid to do that, to take your money and gamble on something that clearly was an experimental stage?
Sure. So I had the opportunity. One of the things that I was really, really passionate about when I was on WZPL was the request-a-thon for Make-A-Wish that we did every year.
Okay.
And so they actually, when they found out I had left radio, contacted me and said that they were looking to hire someone to run the request-a-thon from the Make-A-Wish side. So it worked out very nice that I had this opportunity to continue something I built and was passionate about.
Right.
And work from it from the other side and really be involved with the kids we were helping. And so I actually worked for Make-A-Wish for almost 2 years while I was building my company, and really was so happy doing it that I thought I would just always do this. Like, I'll work for Make-A-Wish and I'll have my media company. And then when the pandemic hit, you know, my job was to connect people with the kids and help grant the wishes, and we couldn't do any of that.
Right.
You know, you couldn't. Nobody could be together, let alone be around a Make-A-Wish kid.
Right.
And so everybody's jobs shifted into corporate fundraising because that's what we could do in the pandemic. And that was sort of my little nod from the universe of one, I'm not a corporate fundraiser, right?
Right.
I'm a personality. I get people pumped up about, like, let's grant a wish, right? And so I had that conversation with my director at the time. It was just a real open, honest conversation of, one, I'm not good at this, and two, I love Make-A-Wish enough to know that you need someone who's good at this. Kids' lives are depending on this fundraising, and I'm not your person. And I appreciate you having faith in me, but I think now is the time that I shift into my media company and help you find the right fit to do this. And so it was really, I can't say enough about how wonderful it was that she looked at me and said, we had you for a lot longer than we thought we were going to get you. Wow. We knew this is what you were going to, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And so I had a really nice exit from Make-A-Wish, even though I'm still a part of it, and I called my financial planner and I was like, hey, I know it's a pandemic, but I think I'm going to start my own business.
Right.
Tell me if I'm crazy. And she said, no, actually, now is a great time.
Really?
You've taken care of yourself. You've got, you don't have credit card debt. You have good credit. You have this money built up. Take a chance on yourself. Do that now. And so I can't stress enough, having a really good financial planner who believes in your passion and knows what you do, to be able to say, you're going to be good at this because I know you care about it and you did everything right to get here, so go do it.
And then she said, take a chance on yourself. Were you skeptical about taking a chance on yourself? I don't think, I don't see that being the problem, because you left from here to here. But I guess it's different because there you're looking for employment, you get employment. But now, to take a chance on yourself, are you willing to take the money that you've gotten and roll the dice on yourself? Why were you not strong in that area? Like, what really shaped you?
Where I I really put the pressure on myself and felt it was all of a sudden every moment of my time, I felt like if I wasn't doing something for the company, I was going to fail my family. You know, like the regular paycheck wasn't going to come in. And that was the hardest transition. It wasn't that I didn't believe I could do it. It was, am I going to do it fast enough that I don't look at my husband and say, I'm sorry I failed. I almost cried just thinking about that, but like that was the pressure that I put on myself. And again, I'll go back to the financial planner that I had that I actually called one day. I left an event from the Children's Museum and I sat in my car and I cried. And I called her and I was like, I don't know, debt, I'm starting to have credit card debt again. And she was like, no, you've invested in your company. You're 1 year in. That's not debt. That's an investment.
Right.
And helping me shift that a little bit. You're not failing. You're in by having credit card debt. You're investing in your company, and you're going to be able to pay that off because you're investing in yourself.
Did your family teach you financial responsibility?
My grandfather did. My parents were terrible with money.
Okay, yeah, because you said something just now that you said almost brought a tear to your eye. The part of failure if this doesn't work out. But when you said that, oh my God, I got credit card debt and I got this debt, did that trigger your family losing their businesses for all those years and so forth?
Yeah, because we lived in poverty. I, went with my mom to get the government cheese. I had a lot of food insecurity, a lot of financial insecurity. But my grandfather, he did it in a way that I didn't realize he was teaching me. He just set an example. And so when I would have those conversations with him, and God love him, he lived to be 96, and when I realized if I ask him, he'll tell me. He was showing me, but now I'm a grown adult and I'm going to have these conversations with him. And he really started talking like, here's what I did. Here are some of the mistakes that I made. And so as an adult, I really got mentored by my grandfather. And, he lived through the Great Depression, right?
Right.
So,
you can't get better advice.
He was in the little van that moved me to Indianapolis. Like, he brought me here. You can do this. He was a huge impact on my life. But, my parents know. And I often wonder, like, why are we not set up in the educational system to teach some of these skills?
To teach financial literacy?
Yeah, like we should be teaching teenagers these skills so that when we're in our 20s, we're not like, I don't know how to do this.
Well, I think the system, being a former school teacher, the system is set up to make laborers, not entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, I guess it happened to you, when the radio station got bought out, you felt somewhat of an insecurity, like probably am I going to be next is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But then the manifestation of seeing that vision, which is what you want, or with anybody being an entrepreneur, the big thing that happened with individuals like that I've come in contact with is what your financial advisor said. Take a chance on yourself. I mean, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And I think if people can get past that stigma, instead of depending on a system, they might be better.
Yes. And I think in the pandemic, there were a lot more people that started to realize that. I feel like it
really changed people. I saw a lot more entrepreneurship. I saw a lot more creativity with all over the world. I saw that happening.
Yes.
Like, everybody was like, okay, we're stuck in this matrix, but now we can come out. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen so many hand sanitizers.
Right?
I mean, everybody was making something. Okay, so now you start your business. You're doing your own thing. Let's get into the girl that really opened up some doors for everybody, and I think by far, she is definitely a legend in this city. I'm definitely proud to say that she's my friend, and that's your girl Patty Spitler. And let's not throw one without the other, whose birthdays are shared together, Debbie Knox.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the impact that those women had on your life as well.
Yeah.
Because
So,
one can't leave you can't leave one name out without the other. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, Debbie was someone that I watched and I learned from and, you know, admired. She and I, we knew each other, you know how media is, but not that we didn't connect, but we just didn't have. Patty was coming in studio because I was doing a segment called KJ Strays where I could adopt cats out, and so Patty was coming in studio more. So she was the one that I had more of a relationship with. But how fortunate was I to see both of these women and be able to watch what they were doing and be inspired by them. And, you know, Patty, when we finally agreed at her birthday party at the Skyline Club, that, you know, she was like, I really need you on the show. Well, it turned out she did not know this yet. I had been fired 2 days before. Cumulus had bought the radio stations.
I remember that.
And they gave me and several other of the like bigger personalities got our walking papers, and it's fine. It's radio, right? It's nothing personal. But she was like, I'm not going to take no for an answer. And I was like, well, guess what? I need a job. And so it worked out. But I was scared to death because I didn't know how to do TV. And I had to remind her sometimes. She would say, I need you to do a rap. And I'm like, what's a rap? I don't know what that means, you know? So she really, started me from scratch and was patient with me and taught me different things like where the mic should be. She'd be like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
But in a very loving way. You know, that I think that's the wonderful thing about Patty is that she's not going to mince any words, but she cares so much. And
you can see the passion with her, not only on the TV show, but I remember she wanted to do a project with me, and like you said, I'm used to being interviewed, not doing a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember when we was doing the teaser for the Andre The Beast Crayton show, she was very patient with me.
Yeah.
But what I learned from her, I watched her craft, and I was like, wow, you know, I watched how she navigated, how she maneuvered, and I was like, man, this lady is definitely awesome at what she does. The networking, the patience, and you can just sense that aura about her. When you took the position with her, you got to fill some shoes. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know, when you got a holiday named after you, you can't go in there. You've been drafted, dog.
Yeah.
So, what did you bring to the table to make her show and yourself stand out? And what were they lacking that they needed to bring you on? You know,
there wasn't. Patty has cats too, but at the time there wasn't necessarily someone on the show who was focusing on cats. So there were more dog stories, horse stories. The Indianapolis Zoo is a huge sponsor of Pet Pals TV, so we get the big animal stories. But she was, and a testament to her, she was looking for the right person to bring the cat stories. She didn't want to just assign someone, we need more cat stories, you go do more cat stories. Years and years, and she was like, you need to be my cat person because you care. You know so much about cats. You care so much about cats. You're my cat person.
And notice what you said, that she said, you care. She saw her in you more, sort of speak.
Yes, and she said that before, and it's like such an honor for her to even like just say I'm anything like her, you know. So for me, I was like, I need to learn how she does this. I need to step up my game. I need to be as good as Patty Spittler in telling these cat stories, because I'm going to be next to her. It's going to be Patty with a story, and me, I gotta.
What was your first one? What was your first time like with her when you got to take over the mic next to her and talk about the cats? Were you shaking, sweating?
I was, and thankfully, I have a cat named Grayson who is on the cover of my book. We have 7 cats. Grayson is, he's just he doesn't know he's a cat. He comes with me for all my stories. When I go on Daybreak or Lifestyle Live, like Grayson's my little kitty sidekick. He loves to go places. He was the only cat at the Mutt Strut at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 4,000 dogs and a cat.
And a cat.
So I did have him with me to kind of like almost be my emotional support. Like, it's okay if I get nervous, they're just going to put the camera on the cat. It's fine. But you know, it was, Patty made me feel comfortable.
Okay.
And that allowed me to grow in my confidence. And that was really, I don't think I'd be doing what I was doing if I hadn't had Patty saying, come along, you've got this.
The book,
Yeah.
Raised by Cats. I believe it after hearing this story. You was definitely raised by cats. What inspired this book? What were some of the, what were 3 things that really inspired this book to come about?
You know, part of it was, one, Patty was like, write your book, right?
Wait a minute, Patty said something else?
Patty said, write your book. She had her book came out. She was like, you need to write your book. I think the biggest thing was, one, was really embracing the fact that I have this natural connection, this natural understanding, and this knowledge of cats that other people don't, and realizing people started coming to me saying, my cat's peeing out of the box. What do I do? My cats aren't getting along. What do I do? And so I would do my stories for Pet Pals TV based on what people were asking me, and then realizing, we don't get cats. In general, as humans, we're kind of failing. Like we put cats in the dog box, and we're like, why aren't they just doing the things that dogs do? And they're this animal, and I have all this passion. I just, like with my cats, when something's wrong, I'm like, I got to figure it out. Right? And so I was like, boy, I think I do need to write a book. I think I do need to help people. And if I can't answer that question that you have on Facebook when you're stressed about your cat, I can tell you, go get my book. I promise I didn't write it to make a bunch of money, and tell you I haven't made much money off my book.
It is a bestseller on Amazon now.
It was a #1 new release. It didn't make bestseller, but it was #1 new release. So,
Okay.
But it was, people were buying it because through my social media, through Pet Pals, I sort of realized, like, where do I fit in this entertainment world? What do I have to offer? I'm the girl that loves cats, right? I can help more cats stay at homes, not get sent to a shelter because of a behavior problem, not suffer because they're in pain and their human doesn't know that peeing outside the box means something hurts, something's wrong. Like, changing that perspective of, oh, my cat's peeing outside the box because it's mad at me. No, it's the only way it can get your attention, and you're its trusted human, and it's crying for help. We need to change how we think about that. That's why I wrote the book.
That's new information for me, and I don't even have a cat.
Yeah. We have these perceptions that they're aloof and they're distant. Oh, my cat just hides under the bed. Your cat is literally afraid of its environment. She's not hiding under the bed because she hates you. She doesn't like you. Something about your house is really scary, and she's afraid she's going to get eaten. They are prey and they are predator, and their drive is to hunt so that they
still have the animal instinct like their predecessor.
They do. And, very different from how dogs descended. Dogs descended and their DNA changed. Our domestic dogs have different DNA. A domestic cat shares 96% of its DNA with a tiger. They are 96% tiger.
I did not know that.
And we are like, come in our house.
I did not know that.
So there's all of this information that I have been drawn to learn about. And, I start off in my book by saying, it's in my baby book. My mom documented my first word was kitty. It was not mom. It was not dada. It was kitty. And so I tell people, if my mom was alive to see what I'm doing now, she would say, well, if she wasn't going to say mama first, if she was going to say kitty first, at least she made a career out of it.
Yeah. How can the viewers get a hold of your book? How can the viewers get in contact with you? How can they watch your podcast? Give the viewers a little bit more information, contact information about you.
So easiest way to find me is my website, which is just kjontheair.com. I also have raisedbycats.com. If you're interested in the book, I try to keep it affordable on my own website, and you can get a personalized copy. And if you have a cat lover and you're looking for a gift, you can get it and I'll write them a nice note. But it's also, it's on Amazon, it's on Barnes & Noble, it's on Books A Million, all the places online. But I do, in my social media accounts, I try very hard to entertain and educate. So I've got these 7 cats at home, and I'm always like, okay, here's what's going on. It's cute, it's funny, but also here's why I'm doing this.
Right.
So
there's a purpose behind this.
Yeah. So if you just go to kjontheair.com, that will get you to my social media accounts, my YouTube channel, which is KJ Today.
Okay.
Which is, I realized I was doing Pet Pals TV, and for a while I was doing a Paranormal Crossroad. I was on a TV show. And so KJ Today kind of takes all of what I do, my celebrity interviews, my cats, my Pet Pals TV, and it puts it all in one place. And I say our channel is the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. So it's just a place that you can go, and whatever I'm talking about, it's going to be positive. It's going to make you feel good. That's my goal in the world, is to let's make people feel good, and maybe you'll learn a bit about cats along the way.
You already know your purpose. That is crazy. Before we wrap up, leave the viewers with something that definitely keeps you in that beast frame of mind, because definitely to come from little small farm town in Wisconsin to basically a little house on the prairie story, your family bringing your whole family here to Indianapolis. You met some great people. Let me ask you before we wrap up, is there one person I got to ask, did you meet? Because you mentioned WZPL. Did you meet Joni Michaels when you got to WZPL?
I love Joni Michaels. Yes. We still talk, and she's a huge animal lover too.
Really?
So, but she came we did this crazy promotion that it's still an annual thing called the pumpkin drop. And I don't know, we were just discussing one day, what's the biggest pumpkin and what would it be like we got in trouble. We would do this bit where it was called Throw Things Off the Roof Thursday, until our boss found out that we were actually going up on the roof to hear what it would sound like when it hit the ground. And so I was like, man, what would a pumpkin sound like? Joni Michaels came to the very first pumpkin drop, and we had so much fun, but I could tell she was like, is this safe? And I'm like, I don't know. So yes, Joni Michaels is amazing. I love her.
Leave the viewers with something that keeps you in that beast frame of mind.
I think you have to look at your shining moment. So you have to go back and remember that you're strong. Mm-hmm. And when I think about that day that I was leaving Cuba City, Wisconsin, and I was going to Omaha, and I was going to really have the radio career, and my parents are crying, and it's I've said since I was 5 I was going to do this, but I had to get in the car and go. And at the time, I didn't realize how important that was. So what helps me is, and I think can help you, is to think about that moment where you were brave, where you did, and you have it. You might have to go back and think about it. Sometimes it's when we're younger, we don't know any different. I wasn't I'm being brave, I'm carving my path, I'm gonna be different. I just had the nudge at that time, I'm gonna go be in radio. This is gonna be cool. So you had that before you got beaten down, before life smacked you around, you had a moment where you just knew who you were supposed to be and it felt good. And even if it was when you were 5, like think about that moment where it felt good and you were just doing it and be like, you know what? I gotta just do it, because who knows where it's going? If you don't take that step, it never goes anywhere. But if you take that step and you fail, you learn a lesson and you take the next step. And that has been what I've realized in my life, is that it hasn't been great all the time, but when it was tough, I thought about, it's been tough before. It's not always going to be tough. How do I take the step to get out of it? And if it's just a baby step, get out of bed, shower, like whatever it is, no matter how dark it is right now, if you take one little step, it's the step to success that gets you to the next spot. So hang on to those moments where you're grand and celebrate them and channel them in your moments where you're not, because you can reconnect with that. It's always there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Raised by Cats, KJ in the house. This has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show.